going on, everybody? Much love and respect. Welcome back. Tim Raw talking to you, giving you a perspective of the Bible from a black perspective, right? Examining the Ham genealogy, one of the major characters in the Bible, right? The Ham genealogy. Now, if you've been watching the other videos and you caught up, right? Well, now we gotta deal with your boy Jesus' mama, right? So we can understand exactly who Jesus is, right? This is important because we already know that from the government standpoint, they think he a Greek-speaking Egyptian, but his mom, though, is his mother Egyptian? But what is she? Because you know your father and your mother make who you are. So let's examine some verses real quick. Let's see what ChatGPT says, right? Right? We're going to break down, we're going to get rid of the contradictions. This is a great question, right? This is a great question, one that many people ask when reading the Bible closely. You're right to notice that the New Testament teaches that Jesus was born, what? Born a virgin. Meaning Joseph was not his biological father. All right, now this is going to be important, folks, as we try to break down and understand exactly who Jesus is, right? Right? So how then can Jesus be said to descend from Abraham and David if he is not biologically related to Joseph? Right? They said the answer lies in a few key points, right? The answer lies in a few key points about biblical genealogy. I'm talking to y'all about biblical genealogy. Well, what happened to the Ham genealogy? If Jesus' father is not Joseph, then his father counts concerning the genealogy, right? Especially if the captain of the guard is saying that Jesus is the Greek-speaking Egyptian and everybody's confused about who Jesus is. Is you the king of the Jews? Is you the son of God? Who are you, Jesus, right? Right? So then they said you got to look at the Jewish customs. We're going to look at that, right? Right? Well, because his mom is Jewish, but that don't mean his daddy is a Jew. That don't mean his daddy is a Jew. And theology. So we got to look at the theology about what Jesus is actually saying, because we got a Greek-speaking Egyptian talking to the Romans and the Jews to fulfill prophecy coming out of Egypt. All right, let's break it down. ChatGPT talking about you going to break it down for me. No, let's break it down for ChatGPT. Everybody trying to figure out who he is. So we've laid down the foundation. Now we have to examine, right? Is he a Jew? Is he Egyptian? Is he a biracial child? Because all of that matters, because in the end, the government, right? Once you get to Acts, that's the end. That's past Jesus. If you would have read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you would have understood who the captain of the guard thought that Paul was concerning the Greek-speaking Egyptian. So if you would have got all the way to the end, right, we know for a fact, right, that the government has concluded in the scriptures that he's a Greek-speaking Egyptian. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? No, seriously, all jokes aside, what does that mean? Right? If we're dealing with genealogy, all right, because the chapter, what they're trying to say that Jesus is a descendant of, right, deals with genealogy. So we're dealing with genealogy, and you get to the conclusion, there's no more, they done killed Jesus. Jesus dead, right? So the government should already know at that point who Jesus is. They done asked him all through the daggone Bible, are you the son of God? Is you this? Is you that? Is you this? Now he's pumping up. People seeing him after he's dead. And the Greek and the captain of the guard is is accusing Paul of being the Greek-speaking Egyptian. You think that the government don't know at this point in the story? If you was watching the movie, it wouldn't be no confusion about who Jesus was. You would see, you would know. Oh yeah, he's the one who led out the 4,000 men. Oh yeah, he's the one that had them out there in the wilderness. Oh yeah, okay. The captain of the guard is saying that. Right. Paul said, "No, I'm a Jew." He said, "I'm a Jew. I'm not a Greek-speaking Egyptian." That counts for genealogy, and we got to go deeper. Let's go deeper. We got to look at it, because when you get to Matthew's, right, and I showed you the verse, right, it says the birth on Jesus is on this wise, or something like that. The birth of Jesus is on this wise. That's important. We're gonna listen. We're gonna examine it, because she was espoused, something like that to Joseph. Y'all see this? This is a nice little. This is a nice little thing right here. Y'all see that? Oh, no, this is for people of color, right? What happened to your story? You understand what I'm saying? If we're saying, what does that mean? What does that mean? We got Mary that's supposed to be a Jew. And there is a verse in there that's supposed to she's a Jew, right? I think dealing with Elizabeth. We'll get to that, right? We got a Samaritan saying that shit, a lady saying that Jesus is a Jew, but he don't respond, right? He don't give no answer, right? And then we'll get to that, right? You know what I'm saying? And then what else do we got, right? We got a captain of the guard saying he's a Greek-speaking Egyptian. We don't know who his daddy is, right? So how can he be from the lineage? How can he be from the lineage of the Jew? What happened to you? What happened to your story in the Bible, right? Everybody coming into Africa, you got a ham genealogy, right? What happened to you? Where's your story? You're not the Romans. You're not the Jews, according to the scriptures, right? You're not from out there, right? Your ancestors don't start in Europe. So what is the Bible actually saying about people of color, Africa, black people? It does not surprise you that when you go to church, the book is about the races, but don't nobody have nothing to say really about what happened from the beginning to the end with Africa? Yeah, but your boy Jesus, he's explaining it. He's explaining what's happening as a Greek-speaking Egyptian talking to the Romans and the Jews. Now we just got to go a little deeper and understand, okay, what's going on with this biracial situation with baby Jesus. Mary, pregnant on the wise?
What's up, brother? What up?
So I got a question for you, man. Why don't nobody want to talk about what happened to Africa in that Bible?
I don't know. Because they don't like it. They don't like Africa, brother.
I mean, but anytime you got a book and you just take a whole genealogy out the book, that means you don't know what that book's saying. You doing just regurgitated racist ideology, belief system, trying to put you inside of a story. You trying to put yourself in the story and not allow the story to actually speak for itself. It's about the races, right? 3 brothers coming from Europe. That got to be defined for itself. Now, if you want to be a black person from Europe, go ahead and be the black person from Europe. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get caught up in that mixed multitude.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
Go ahead. All right, so what's the conclusion so far, right? We know for a fact, that at least Jesus has to be a biracial child. And why am I saying that? At least we know he got to be a biracial child, because you got two conflicts, right? You got one major conflict. You got a woman saying that Jesus, are you the Jew? And then you got the government saying, Paul, I think you the man, I think you Jesus, who led out the 4,000 men into the wilderness, that's a Greek-speaking Egyptian. Daggone. Right? That to me, I can understand the confusion, right? From the biracial situation. You got this woman saying, hey, he would marry, he part of the Jew lineage. And you got the government saying, nah, his daddy must be Egyptian. And he speak Greek. You can't take that out the story. Now let's keep on going. We gotta dig deep into Mary. We gotta dig deep into this genealogy. We gotta dig deep into this baby that Mary's having, right? So catch me in the next video.
We're gonna lose everything we fought to get, man. Don't you see that the game is fit to lead us out and go somewhere else if we don't straighten up? At the end of these we listen to, we don't get nothing out of them no more, man. We don't get no social commentary. We ain't getting no kind of knowledge out these. Everybody just talking about how many chains they got on and how much dope they sold. But the truth of the matter is this, I don't believe you. Everybody lying. Everybody lying.